Sofia Castillo, here at an all-women's show in Fort Lauderdale at the Main Event Training Center. David Gangrel, Heath, Craig, they're running the show. It's interesting to see the emergence of women's wrestling. Sofia is only 18 years old, correct, Sofia?
Correct, I'm 18.
You started when you were 17. What made you at such a young age decide, hey, this is something I want to do?
I was born in Costa Rica, where wrestling was really not popular. The little bit that I could see from Raw and SmackDown was just 1 hour per week. I realized that there were not a lot of girls that could wrestle, and I found that very inspirational. I decided to move to Orlando with my mom and give it a shot to see if I could be some sort of role model for little girls and be different and step out of that regular box that you're usually put into. And I thought it was a great idea to try wrestling. I love it. I fell in love with it. I began training. I discovered I could do some pretty different, impressive things. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what this journey has for me because I'm so young still.
Well, when you're doing that and you're in Costa Rica, was it just, I want to come over here to be a wrestler, or were there other factors involved?
Education was a big factor. I didn't really know what I wanted to do over there because it's such a small country that you feel like you don't have many opportunities. Luckily, my mom was born in Long Island, New York, so I was able to come here to Orlando with her. Thanks to her and thanks to my grandpa that were able to get me a citizenship of the States. I was able to move here. I was able to study. I enrolled in college. I'm going to become a sign language interpreter to help deaf people, and I think helping deaf people and wrestling is just such a cool combination that I think I could experiment to make a lot of things with it.
And that's something, because when you're doing that and you're going to do sign language, there's a lot of, you have to interact with that person.
There is
visibly, you have to interact with that person. And in professional wrestling, there's a lot of that too. Do you find the crossover between the two, like one helps the other a little bit?
I definitely do. There are different types of interaction with the deaf community. You cannot speak, you cannot talk, you have to find a way to communicate and express yourself with your hands. And the wrestling business is a little bit tougher, maybe. There is a lot of physical contact, but I do find it easier when they overlap to be able to actually communicate and express what I'm trying to say to people.
How did you find the Team Vision Dojo?
That's an interesting question. I was in high school last year. My best friend, we were talking about wrestling, and she said, hey, I know this girl, she works with me. She's training to become a wrestler too. And I was like, what? I can't believe it. This is so cool. And she called her. She, gave me her contact information. I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm Sofia. I'm interested in wrestling, this and that. And she's like, cool, come over. I'll show you the place. I'll show you around. I'll introduce you to the trainer, and, it can be a start. Because it was really hard for me, because being new and not knowing people, different language, different culture, it was a little bit more of like a cultural shock for me to be here. But luckily I was able to adapt well.
Not only did you have the physical challenge, right, but you had society and a cultural challenge as well.
Right.
But being at the Team Vision Dojo, you had a lot of women training there. It wasn't just one or two women training there. You had several women that were training there.
We were several women, and not only that, but the people that trained there come from different backgrounds. So it felt more like a cultural family, Like you didn't feel like an outsider. So it was great. I mean, there's so many people that you get to just meet and be with. It's such a great interaction that I'm really excited to be here.
What do you find that you like most about what you're doing so far?
Definitely be able to be different. I love being some sort of inspiration to other people and being able to do different things. It's just easier for me to express what I'm trying to do.
And being from Costa Rica, you mentioned that wrestling was not really something that's big in Costa Rica.
Not at all.
No wrestling shows, no training schools, nothing over there. No. So when you're watching it on TV, how does it become for you watching it and saying, wow, this is really cool? What attracted you to professional wrestling?
I think that I've always liked to be different and to step outside of what that usual you have to be, because you're a girl, you should be a doctor, you should be a lawyer, do this, do that. I've always liked to challenge that aspect of society maybe, and I think that being a wrestler is so different, and especially where I'm from, it's not seen as something that you should do maybe for a career, and the fact that I was able to do it and start to kind of prove people wrong and prove what I can't do, I think that's some sort of, I take some pride in it, I guess, and proving people otherwise, and I think that might help them open their minds a little bit more to what this business really is and what people can really do if they put their mind into it.
It's interesting because in Costa Rica, is that a male-dominated society? And what I mean by that is the men and women, that the man is the head of the household, and that's the way society is in Costa Rica, or not necessarily?
Definitely not. Latinas get pretty short-tempered, and they don't really let people take too much control. I would say it's very equal as to men and women, but there is always that like societal issue of if you're a man you do this, if you're a woman you do that. And there's not a lot of judgment on people, but there is definitely there's a separation that you can see. Like men do this, women do that, girls shouldn't wrestle, girls should find a career that could help the family, enhance the family.
Sofia, how do you get people to take you seriously as a professional wrestler?
It takes a while. It takes a little bit of work, especially being so young and being so, and sparky and outgoing and not seeming too tough to what people believe. I guess training hard as I've been training and as seriously as I've been taking this, and I go to school, I go to work, and I wrestle, and that's all I do all week. And I think that people see that dedication that I have, and they start to believe what I really want to do and take me a little bit seriously. Hopefully, they will take me seriously enough, and we'll see where it goes.
Sofia, thank you so much.
Thank you.